Hi, it's Jenny D, Tammy Oakland, Kathy J, 3 in the 303. We've got a 3-day weekend.
Yeah, baby.
One more. I'm so sorry. One more.
Is that your happy
I'm
dance?
so excited.
That's her excited.
Yeah,
you can imagine
man.
when she's not excited.
I know, right? Oh, God.
But I think, well, it'd be only fitting because it is Labor Day weekend, and we all have worked really hard to get where we are.
Yeah.
But we weren't always just in radio. We were all different things. And even if we
Yes.
were, because I know you've been in radio,
My
most of your
entire
life,
career.
but
pretty much.
it's been like different jobs that you take on, and you're like, okay, well, we're doing this, I guess.
Right,
now.
this is me.
Like you were the.
Oh, don't even start. Well, I mean, we'll get to me in a minute. I feel you have no
Kathy
idea.
and I have a shared experience when it comes to radio.
Radio, yes, but I have such a big outside world of working.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Same.
crazy. So yeah, you and I've worked since
Oh, yeah.
we were like 13.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
Wow.
I worked in
Yeah.
restaurants and bars, of course. Like I did a lot of that.
That's why she has her hard attitude.
Yeah.
That's true. You do get hardened
She
when
was
you have,
flipping quarters on a Pac-Man
It's
machine
my
at a bar.
resting bartender
When
face.
Right. It's exactly.
I still want you to tip me, but I hate you. One of them too, like at Red Robin, and this is a shared experience as well. I had to be the bird one time because I was a trainer.
Oh,
I had to be
you
the
did?
dirty bird. We called it the dirty bird because it smelled awful.
That is the
It was
thing.
dirty.
It hung in a dirty closet. Oh, it was
Smell.
awful.
We've all been mascots.
we've
That's
all
the
been-
shared
yep.
experience.
Yeah,
which is
And
yeah.
kids would just cry, and there's nothing
smell.
worse than like walking through a restaurant and just making every little child cry because they're like, "You're supposed to be happy,
Hey,
but it's a
everybody.
creepy
And
bird."
there's dust coming off
yeah.
you in front of their
You
food.
smell like moldy cheese or something.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ew.
the cozy bear sometimes it smelled like hay. Like one of the other interns that was with me at the time, their sweat, like you can't be in those things for too long.
No.
So we would trade out throughout the day with the different places we went. And if I got in it after him, I'd be like, what's happening?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
See,
And you'd be trapped in it. And it was
yeah.
oh, God.
Because I worked for the cat radio station, so I was the cat mascot. That's how I got started. But yeah, it wasn't hay, dude. It was straight up bo stank.
right,
and you
it's
had
just-
to. You're right. You had to switch like every hour because
Right.
you can't. There was
It's
like
too
nowadays
much.
the mascot suits have got like fans. And
Oh,
all this,
totally.
like great
Yeah.
stuff. Back then, it was just ripe.
Right, that's right. And you had to like Febreze it and leave it outside. Yeah.
Yes.
So, anyways, so that's one.
They didn't
shared
do
job.
it. They left it in like the
In the
closet in the
dusty
kitchen.
closet?
Yeah.
In the kitchen
Yeah.
that had like fry grease and everything. Oh,
I
you
actually
get out
got-
of it and it was just like your face was like a
I
puddle
know,
of
right? It was
grease.
so
Oh
gross.
yeah.
I actually got punched as a mascot. So that would have been my worst experience as a mascot. We were doing like a pool party. Everybody was outside. It was at an apartment complex. We were like having a good time. Guy didn't like me.
I don't like
Or
you
maybe it
either,
was a
bro.
bar. It was either, I don't know. I got pushed and then in a bar too once. But yeah, I was like, and then it was like, you take off the hat and they look at you like you're a girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you ding that.
Yeah. I've fallen in it. I've had horrible experiences in it, but nothing but a girl. Thank God I wasn't in it at Civic Center Park one year. And the girl that was in it at the time, a bunch of teenage boys came up and tried ripping the head off to steal it.
Oh, yeah.
And the head has a strap.
Oh no.
And so she had to go to the hospital. They gave her a concussion because and then they realized it was a kid. It was a little girl in there. I mean, we were like 18, 19,
Yeah.
it's our
Exactly.
college internship. Yeah. And then but it's like horrible. But when I was the
I have
cozy
a lot of
bear.
respect for mascots.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah,
of respect
totally.
for mascots. One time I worked it was a gun show. I don't know why. And they were all threatening to shoot me. And I was the cozy bear. I
Oh,
was
my
like,
goodness.
that's not why you do that.
I'm
know,
supposed to be
hello, people.
comforting.
I know.
So yeah, so as the mascot,
Although I guess if you're around a
be
bunch of
kind.
hunters,
I was.
maybe like a hunting and whatever. They're like,
I
looking
put
for a
myself.
bear.
It was the
It
show.
is not bear season.
It was the hunting show. I
It's
was like,
rabbit season.
Right. I should have. Somebody should have talked for me, but you can't talk. You're just
yeah.
you're
Yeah,
a victim.
you can't say anything.
Oh, no, you are a
Like,
You're a victim
And then you
in
got
that.
the kids that come up and pull the tail.
yeah.
And they're like,
So
Because there's always
anyways.
one mean kid.
Yeah,
Like
always.
most of them are nice and they either cry or they like come over and it's like, you're not real.
Right.
Ouch.
Right. or they hug you and you have a very sweet
I
moment.
know.
Yeah.
Those
Right,
are
but
cute,
yeah,
too.
so,
there's
but-
the sweet moments too. But yes, we're talking about the crazy jobs.
Other
So-
jobs.
Yeah, so I did that,
Yes.
and then I did. I was manager of big apartment complexes. I was a trainer for that as well.
Now, did you do that because they were giving you room and board to, like, were you getting room
No,
in the apartment
no,
complex?
really?
It was just- it was something
Because
my
usually
mom
that's how
did.
you-
Yeah.
Right.
It's like something my mom did. So
Okay.
like she like hooked me up, and
Right.
I mean I was making more money.
I
Probably
know
than I'm
you
making
were.
Now.
Yeah.
But I mean the things you had to deal with, like because since I was an assistant manager and people would come to me with their
It's
issues.
their personal issues on why they can't pay their bills.
And walking into those apartments, one of them.
I couldn't.
I could write a book on
you
some of the
don't want to know
nasty-
how some people are living.
No.
You
one
don't
of them
wanna-
though. This guy had it was like a 5 or 6 foot alligator in an enclosure that he built in a 1-bedroom apartment.
What?
So I had to go in with the maintenance guys to get pictures in order to evict said person.
Yeah.
Because obviously
Wow.
not an approved pet.
Right,
It's
right.
not your emotional support alligator.
Yeah,
okay?
right.
But so yeah, I had to go in and then we had to grab him with like this little thing and it's jumping and flashing. I'm like, ugh. So as we're turning around, all of a sudden, 7-foot boa constrictor and another case. I'm like, this guy, and he's got like insane clown posse all over. You could just smell it. I'm like, I'm gonna die in here.
right.
die
There's a
in
booby
this
trap.
place.
I'm
Yes.
about to fall through a floor and get eaten.
And like these big burly, like all of the maintenance guys are like, just send Jenny in first. What? Why me?
You're 4'11".
I'm fodder. I'm fodder. Like you're literally throwing me in there to die.
Again, this is why she's hardened.
Oh yeah. We had one guy that was no idea why this situation happened, but he was eating a pork chop and he flushed it down his toilet. So I'm assuming he was eating in
He was high.
flagrante.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Backed
Okay.
up 360 units. All of them
With a pork chop.
with a pork chop. Backed every single one of them up with sewage.
Oh.
And they were like, you
see.
got to go in there and walk. I'm like, I quit. I was like, all of a sudden, I feel like I'm sick. I won't be there that
I'm
day.
not going to deal with
It is-
370 units of
Yeah.
people
Oh, yeah.
complaining.
It smells bad anyway, but then you have all that stuff.
When you
So,
see how
yeah.
people live, that's an eye opener. Like
Oh.
some of
It
the
makes you
things that
never
are-
want to live in an apartment complex. Like, no matter how clean it looks on the outside, never want to live
Yeah,
con-
my whole
connected
thing.
to anyone
Yes,
else.
my whole thing was I don't want some idiot grilling burgers on his porch, catching something on fire when I'm right next door in the next apartment. Like
Yeah.
that's the only reason I hated the apartment feel. It was just too close to other
yeah.
idiots or people that didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be responsible for when you're high
yeah.
and a candle
or
falls
you
over.
hear
Yeah, I need a
arguing
little
or
space.
jumping
Oh,
or
all
yeah.
that.
Well,
yeah.
I lived in an apartment in Vegas, and let me tell you, you don't want to live next to somebody that's a slob who has 1 million cockroaches in his apartment because
Yep.
they crawl into yours.
Oh yeah.
And I quickly went back home to Colorado.
We had a lot
That
of
was
people
not
that
a
did
fun
that.
Were you in
seriously.
Vegas for a job? Was it a radio job?
I did work in radio in Vegas, but I
wow.
lasted 3 months in Vegas.
You're
I was like,
this is not.
it's not for me.
This is my
It
life.
is not
And you
for me.
have those moments. I've had plenty of
Yeah.
jobs where all of a sudden you're like, this isn't my life.
Yeah.
Right. I've had boyfriends and jobs where you're like,
Well, I
this
moved
is
for
not
a
it.
boyfriend, and that was
She moved
was a
forward,
big-
like, so both were not okay.
Yeah, we're moving. Right.
yeah, we're coming home.
That could, I mean, I don't know. Those were like the craziest jobs that I ever had. I was a real estate agent for a year.
How'd that go?
Did you
Like
really?
you took the
Wow.
test and everything.
Oh yeah, like my dad was a real estate agent too. So it was like
Yeah,
all the
right,
different things
right.
I tried their past.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was taking a lady around to show her houses or whatever. She's wearing all white, and her seat nor her pants were white when we got out of the car.
Because your car?
And I had to sit there for an hour.
Oh,
And then there's no amount of cleaning that can really get that out of your soul. So I was like, Dad, I don't think I want to do showings anymore. Like, I don't think I can. First of all, I don't like people in my car anyway in my space. But yeah, that was
it's
was an
kind of
epic
like,
one.
have you
Oh,
ever had, so your
my.
car wasn't, you're saying your car was dirty and got her dirty. Is that what you're saying?
No.
What are you
Oh, that's
saying?
where I thought
Yeah,
was
what are you
Oh,
saying?
no, she had an accident.
what?
Oh,
And
she had an accident.
she had an
In your
accident.
car?
Yes.
Oh.
And then it was weird because like I had to do the follow up, and I was like, "Did any of those work for you?" I don't think I'm going to move right now. I'm like, "Yeah," because you're so embarrassed you want to make eye contact.
I was
that
gonna
you
say, I'm
literally
surprised
just,
she
You're like,
answered
lady,
the phone.
you owe
or,
me a
yeah.
You
win.
literally just deuced
You
in my
owe
car.
me
I'm going to
this
send
sale.
you like a whole entire bill for the cleaning, and no,
Sorry, is this
and then had to sit for
legit?
like an hour in the summertime with this woman in my car, knowing that something wasn't right in the neighborhood.
What?
Yeah. So that was my last showing that I ever did as a real estate agent. I'm like,
I'm
I
horrified.
don't even know how to process that. Like, in all honesty.
Well, there's a lot of ways. No, I don't even want to say what I'm about to
and
say.
then I
Let's
don't think
just
I'm
not
going to
even
move
talk
anymore.
about it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah,
After
right.
all that, yeah.
Wow. I would have been out of the car and hightailing. Like, I
I'm
gotta
literally,
go.
it happens, but
Like, I
like,
gotta
it's like you got to own up to it a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I ruined a couch. So, yeah,
that was my
Wow.
second
I
worst
mean,
career. That was number 2.
Okay, so what else? Oh my God. Oh God. Yeah. What else have you done?
I worked at Dave & Buster's for
that
a
would be
month.
Was that fun? Oh, a month.
Yeah, it was like I remember like crying in my. I was crying in my friend's basement, and I was like, they don't even treat me like a human. And that is the only job I have no call, no showed on.
Really?
Right, because
yeah.
you just couldn't take it anymore.
And then whenever I go into it, because it's the one in Colorado,
Yeah.
whenever I go in there, the regional manager's still there, and I'm like,
hey,
hi. 'Cause
you
it
don't
was-
remember me, right?
it
That
was
was a different name.
Yeah.
I'm a radio name now.
Did
Yeah,
you at
right.
least get free games? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh,
you heard her.
I'm
They
like-
didn't treat her like she was
No,
human.
Well, because you see those bars that are right there.
Yeah.
No. You have to go all the way into the labyrinth to go grab a drink, and then people get mad 'cause it takes so long. It takes so long. It's
Yeah,
right
the
there.
bar's right there.
No. It was. Whew, that was one of those.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. So if you ever are at Dave and Buster's, tip them well.
Tip them well. They have a labyrinth
They
of
deserve it.
walking.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right. What else?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to think what else I've done that was really spectacular and ruined my life.
oh my goodness.
It's trauma
Or helped
response.
you
which
get to your next
it
point.
makes it. Yeah.
It propelled you to the next
Well,
point.
even
learn
in radio,
from
I mean, in
everyone,
radio, we started promotions. Like Kathy
Yep.
and I worked together.
Yep.
I remember the one day. Oh God, the situation. I can't even talk about it because, liability reasons. But I remember crying in the bathroom that day, and I was so upset. Like Kathy was doing the
She-
mornings, I was doing overnights, and producing the
Jenny
morning
was
show.
not having a good time.
She comes in, she's like, "Don't let him see you cry. Just go in there, just cool as a
Can't-
cucumber."
you
And that helped
can't.
because I was like, "All right, well."
You can't.
Yeah,
Wow.
but it's hard
No.
because why
You
can't you
can't.
cry? Like that's
I
what I
know.
understand. Like it can be so stressful and stuff at work.
Yeah.
And then, I think since then I really haven't cried at work.
Because
Oh, that's a good thing.
I was,
No, I shove it down inside with a
right,
bunch of
and
fast
you
food.
bury it.
With a bunch of
Right.
fast food and dirty choices.
You bury it with stress and things that will kill your body.
Oh my goodness.
But no, but that is the I just remember because radio is a male dominated business, and
Yep.
so. And this is the first time I've worked with. You were the most females I've worked with in my entire career.
Wow.
Like I've always worked around men. So it's just funny, and they gossip more than women. I just want to say that.
course.
But when there was a meeting that we had with the morning show and our boss, and I had cried in it or something, and none of them knew what to do. They all were so weirded out by it. And then afterwards, Larry was like, "Yeah, you don't do that.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you gotta." And so ever since then, I kind of I act like men. I hate to say it like that, but I kind of keep it very
Emotions in check.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Well, because
emotions
in this
in check
industry,
because
if
nobody
you
wants
do
to
show
hear it.
any weakness, you're out.
Right.
I cry
Yes.
behind closed doors with
can't.
like a one-on-one, but I cry when I'm angry at
Same.
work.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So like I'll go
That's
in,
worse.
shut the door, and I'll be like, "Ah!" and then I'll cry.
So I've learned that any kind of emotion will put you on a radar.
Yeah.
It's your
Yes.
job.
Yep.
So I stay away from that. So
Same.
and at the end of the day, is this the hill you're going to die on? No, you were going to get up tomorrow and you were going to fight again.
You're gonna
Yep.
get that
You
paycheck.
know, and so that's why I was trying to get her. I was like, "Come on, girl, you're too pretty. Let's get in there. I know you're Jenny. Like you are the toughest girl I know. Get in there."
So it was
And I
awesome.
still feel
Everyone
that.
has bad days,
Yes, I
yeah.
still feel that.
But it was
Everybody
good. It
has
was like and I think that was the first time that I'd really had like a female, like who was successful in their career, or whatever, like really take the time to like pump you up, and that's why I was like, I always want to be that person. I want to be like celebrate other people and make them feel better when they're having a bad
I
day.
feel bad.
Yeah,
I could have
and
said
help
a
lift
lot
you up.
like, "Believe in yourself. Know who you are. You're going to do this." But instead, I was like, "Girl."
Yeah, but no,
put
that's
your
what God.
I was like,
that
"Put
the
your
thing
big
is-
girl panties on and get back
Yeah.
in the ring." That's kind of what it is.
But that's what I needed to
Stand
hear.
up, yeah, hide the black eye, get back in that ring, man. You are here to win. So,
And we
yeah.
did, and eventually we ended up at the same station,
Yeah,
which was really cool. And
That's
It's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, the history, but yeah. So where else?
we've all been.
Where else have you worked?
Let's see. That's most of the ones that I've actually worked at.
That's good.
Like, yeah, I was gonna say some of the bar stories; those are awesome, but not fit for the office.
no,
Yeah.
they're not.
But you get a
A bar
lot.
story is never fit for the office.
No.
The club stories, the bar stories,
Oh, yeah.
they're the best.
Never happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, never. Tiny bit. No.
Okay, so you got to start in radio, Tammy? Like your jobs have always been radio?
You
for
know
real?
what? I started radio when I was 17. So as a mascot and kind of, but 16. My very first job, I was 16 and I did work for a burger joint for 4 hours. So that was my crazy story because I went in. They hired me as a hostess.
We all have that one job. I was there for 2
I was there for 4 hours.
hours.
But it's fine. So 4 hours, they hired me as a hostess, and I walk in there, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have you on the fryer." And I went, What? I know you hired me as a hostess.
Right. Like I put my lip gloss on.
Thank you. I was dressed all nice. I had my hair
I'm not going to be in
done.
the back getting zits.
So that was it. So I'm at the fryer, greases all over.
Yeah,
I had
totally.
grease coming down here and all this. And so I walked up to him because it was a split shift too. And I lived like a half hour away from the job. So it was like 4 hours. Then you were off for 2 hours. And then you had to come back for 4 hours. And I was like, I'm not driving home, taking a shower, putting, everything and coming back. I walk up to him. I said, I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice. And he looked at me and he goes, 2-week notice. He goes, get out. I'm like, just go. I'm like, this job is not for me.
But it's a respect thing. You're like, I have to do it. Yeah.
I was like, I'm
amazing.
16 years old, and I knew that it's like, I got to put in my 2 weeks
It's
notice.
not gonna happen,
and he's
homie.
like, no, just go home. And then the other job when I was younger was I worked for a grocery store, and I was the bagger and pushing carts. And that I lasted, I think, 2 weeks for that, and I quit because they wouldn't let me off to go to a concert. So I quit for that.
I mean, priorities when you're a teenager. I
There's
mean,
priorities.
for real.
And then, I started at 17, and then I
cool.
was the mascot, and then our overnight guy didn't show up for work, so they're like, "Can you just come in and fill in?" So then I ended up being on the air doing overnights.
Yep, that's how it happens.
So I
That's how mine
was
was,
working overnights, and then, but I was also a picture framer, so I was a picture framer for a while.
Like
I did
at-
two
like at
full-time
Michael's?
jobs. So
Like
it was
like-
picturesque.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a complete, in the mall picture. I loved that job.
The place
like
is
I've had great jobs.
When you'd go in and you'd pick one,
You
the
pick a
number, and then
poster
you
or
go
whatever,
over and
then
get
you
it
would
framed.
design the mats and then
yeah.
pick out the frames. But I loved that job. That job was so cool. I've had a lot of good
obviously,
jobs.
I grew up in the wrong spot.
And then-
I don't remember ever
No,
having one of those.
they had
It was
one
in
at
the
the Aurora
malls.
Mall. They had one.
Yeah.
It was like just a place where
I
you go
worked
and
at
get
I
your.
remember the glam place.
It was
like
kind of
whatever
it was kind of the big poster place where you got to go in and then there you could
and then
get.
pick it. They had one on 16th Street Mall. So when I went to college at the Institute of Art, I worked there too.
Yeah.
But
But you could get like a Scarface poster there. You could get everything
anything.
from that
The
to
Mayas were
to
huge.
something your
The
mom
Maya
would get to
things,
hang
yeah.
in the house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and then I took a little break from radio and I sold Harleys for a little while. That was a blast.
That's awesome.
That was a blast.
That's
yeah.
Of course you did.
awesome.
Of course you
That's
did.
awesome.
I know,
For which,
I've had
for
great
which Harley place?
experiences. Pikes Peak Harley
That's
Davidson. I was their first
awesome.
female salesperson.
That is awesome.
Oh my
killed
god,
it,
I would
totally
buy one
killed
for
it.
you, and I hate motorcycles.
Yeah, right.
But she's like in a band. It
Yeah.
like plays the bass.
Yeah.
I'd be like, she's
that
living
would
the
be, like,
life.
the
It
perfect one for you.
was one of those moments where it was kind of cool because I had, you know how it is when you're a girl and you're in a guy's industry,
Yeah.
like you said with radio. I did have a guy come up to me and he tried to go, all right, what's that? What does that do? Like on a bike.
Right.
And I was like, it's blah, 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 blah. And he looked at me and he goes, I'm buying a bike from you. So it was like a
Yeah, right.
moment, I'm
Yeah.
like, I've been raised around bikes.
How
so-
many of them tried to like take you home, make it their wife?
No.
I would be the also thing. Like, could you imagine you walk into a Harley, you're expecting like some big burly dude, and it's like Tammy comes out like, oh, hi. I'm like, I'm gonna buy that from you, and then maybe I'll buy you some dinner.
Not me.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that-
like, never mind. She's gonna find out my credit. I'm gonna go somewhere else.
That is, I know all about you, let me tell you. But
I'm
that
gonna go
was
somewhere else.
such a fun job. But for me, it was hard because coming from radio at that point, we have the flexibility here. And then it was like, what do you mean you want me to clock in and clock out? What do you
Yeah.
mean I got to vacuum? What
Right.
do you mean I got to polish the
Yeah.
bikes? Like, what do you mean I only get an hour lunch?
Oh, yeah.
And then, radio came knocking on the door. So I
Yeah.
went back. And then I was a loan officer for a brief stint too in
Nice.
between radio
Okay.
jobs. So that was bad timing.
Yeah.
Because I got my license right when the market crashed.
Oh,
so it's like
dang.
everybody's making money hand and fist
Right.
as a loan
Come on,
officer.
Tammy, get in the water's fine.
And then like the market crashed.
And then the shark came.
Yeah, nobody could get their
Tammy's
homes
still in.
appraised. I was sitting there going, I'm not making a penny.
oh, damn.
Man. So yeah, I don't have too many crazy jobs. Oh, and I was a bartender for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun, but then that was somebody came in and I had the day shift and someone threatened my life and the manager didn't really take care of it and I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm not.
You're like, if this is happening in the daytime,
I'm like,
I'll
I'm
see
out.
you later.
Like,
I
I'm
used
out.
to, when I was working at the apartments, I was also working at a bar. And it was a friend owned the bar or whatever else. And it was like that first like really long shift that I had. And I watched a grown man stand up and pee himself in front of the bar. And like some of the other stuff, I was like,
and it wasn't family.
I'm looking
You're like,
around
this-
and he just stops while he's walking and it's right this little area. And then all of a sudden I look down, I'm like, bro. And then he just continues to walk outside to go smoke. I'm like,
Ew.
anyone see that? They're like, yeah, it happens. I'm like, oh, it does? Does it? So I called the next day and I cried. I was like, I'll give you my 2 weeks notice. So I worked for 2 weeks. And so I worked a month there, but I was like, oh. One other one that was also in Aurora. Bars in Aurora are fun to work at, let me tell you. I remember getting sick, and it was like the guy was my uncle who owned it, basically my uncle. But he, I couldn't find anyone to cover my shift because they were all lazy and just wanted to drink. So I ended up getting somebody to cover my shift, but it was already too late. He'd already called me and fired me because I didn't show up for my shift.
Okay.
So then he calls me back. He goes, "Oh, I see that it was covered. It was a misunderstanding. So yeah, you got your shift back tomorrow." Oh, do I? Came in, smile on my face, 2 weeks, written notice. And I was like, I'm not going to work here anymore. I'm going to leave, but I'm going to leave the right way, my way, and bye.
Right.
Wow.
And he was like, he looked at me like, because he'd always known me as a kid. And he's like, that was the most like professional and also like in your face Italian thing I've ever seen. I'm like, I gave you 2 weeks to train a new girl, but it was like, shake hands, leave.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You shook hands without the kiss of death. It was good. It was
Yeah.
good Italian party.
I mean, that's a good thing. Like when you leave a job, and I feel like never burn that bridge
No,
because
you
you're going to work with
ever.
somebody
Yeah.
that you've worked with before. Like never burn that bridge because once you do, there's absolutely no, especially in an industry as small as ours.
Well,
Oh my
people
God,
talk.
there is such a revolving door in the radio world. It's
Oh, yeah.
crazy. Yes, very
Yeah.
much. So when it comes to me, ladies.
Oh God, I am so excited for this.
So like I said, I've been working since I was 13. And so it started as I mowed a cemetery the first summer when I was 13. They put me at the back of the cemetery, and every day I showed up and I pulled my mower out of the mausoleum and I started mowing, and I stopped for lunch and then I started mowing. And by the end of the summer, I was at the front of the cemetery, and like that was my summer.
I actually would love that job.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not like
I'm not
that.
mad at that.
But
No.
this was before you had like music in your ears and stuff, so it could get boring out there. But I needed that because it was old cemetery and like the ground dipped down, and there was beehives by a lot of the headstones. Like so, but but I was so anyways, and I think I might have made $100 that summer. Whatever. The next summer, I had the same company, and then this time I would get dropped at somebody's house in the woods, and I'd have to landscape it.
Dropped to somebody's house in the woods. This sounds like a horror movie.
I was gonna say,
Total horror movie.
This is a
I'm
whole
starting
series.
to
Horror movie.
understand
This is
a
a whole
little more
series.
Total horror
about
movie.
Kathy J.
Right,
and her love
so
of
right.
Halloween.
And then,
yeah.
and so, because my friend in the town, her mom was the single mom. She had to take any job that the town would give her.
Yeah.
So it was this guy would tell her, come mow my grass, Mindy, tell him come with the kids. And this one would be like, come get the chicken eggs. And, so I did these weird odd jobs with Mindy and her mom, you
Yeah.
know, so, but then once I started working, Arby's was the first job at 15, with the checking account and all that. And that took me through through high school.
Yeah.
Then once I got college, I had 2 jobs a year because I had a job at college and a job in the summer. So I would have the job at college. I did Eddie Bauer retail. I can fold a shirt, people. I can fold a shirt. But I did road construction 2 summers because it was the best paying job. And by Wednesday morning, you're on overtime.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I would make enough money in the summer that I would live off of it through the year while I went to college. Because I had to support my way through college. So I worked for the college, and then I would have to have a second job. It was a nightmare. But I did grocery store.
Yeah.
And before you could just ring it, you had to literally type in what every single thing was. So I probably robbed that store because I was too lazy. I was like, you just got that olive oil for free, lady. I was like, just type it in. I did. But the road construction was fun because I learned how to drive semis. I learned how to drive anything that has to do road construction, paving. I was a part of the paving project on Lincoln Avenue when it turns into concrete as soon as you come off of I-25.
Yeah.
It was such a good paying job. I didn't want to leave and go back to college. I was like, I'm staying here.
Is that why there's so many potholes?
So many potholes. It's concrete. It's concrete. But there's also I've done.
I'm gonna think about you every time I drive by that
You'll
now.
be like,
Every
Kathy
time I
was
go
right
there.
here. I got flashed by a guy right there on center. A family, some mom had me babysitting her kid every day off of Exposition. She would get on the bus and head to somewhere, and I'd be like. And then the kids would hang out with me all day as I was flagging the traffic, and then she'd come home around 5.
Are you kidding me?
No, and I'd be like, I guess I was your babysitter today, kids. Like, I would even tell them, go get something to eat for lunch, come back. Like, I was like, what? So anyways, the life I've had. Like, I worked at Spencer's.
Oh, that would
would've
be
been fun.
I have so many.
Oh, yeah.
I had
cool
the best
jobs.
keychains, but I always just told them like, look, this is what and usually it was always cool. They didn't mind, and it was good for me because I knew this isn't my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to be leaving in 4 months.
Well, you have to
know?
do that.
Like,
Like I did
Yeah.
Lady Foot Locker.
Yes.
I did the Hallmark store, obviously. Like the things in the
Right.
mall, and like you just kind of go
Right, right.
between house or between
I
jobs.
totally forgot I worked at the pretzel store with my mom.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, it was so
oh,
funny.
come
So
on.
we loved the pretzels, right?
I love
and so it
pretzels.
was like I can't remember. I must have been like 17,
Like the
18.
Wetzel's pretzels or the Annie's?
No, it was
Yeah.
Annie
Oh,
Ann's.
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it was that one.
the cinnamon one.
But it was like we love the pretzels so much, so I got the job, and my mom's like, "Well, I want to come work there too." So I think we did like 2 months there just because we like wanted the pretzel.
Oh my!
I also, you know what else
forgot
I did?
about that. I can roll a pretzel, baby.
You know what else I did? I tested your cars at the emissions place.
Nice.
I was the girl that drove the cars on the Dyad on the treadmill as it ran the tests. Though I worked there when I was
Wow.
starting to work in when I first started in radio. And then I worked at a call center. So a lot of people, it's so funny. They'll hit me
I
up and they'll
couldn't
be
do
like,
that.
"We were at Teletech together, Kathy." And I was like, "Yeah, we were." Because I was on the call center floor hyperventilating because that was not my
Oh,
life.
yeah.
That was
I
not my
couldn't do
life.
that.
But I was trying to get on the morning show at the same, you're trying to do 2 jobs.
Right.
Radio
Oh, yeah.
is so
2
hard
jobs,
to get into.
that was exactly
So
it,
yeah,
yeah.
so I have done lots of it. UPS was a job. That was the one I was like, my grandma's died. I can't go. Like it was
wow.
it was seasonal.
Oh.
It was Christmas. They had me in Highlands Ranch, and those people were rude. And they had long driveways, and you would have to run up that driveway. And it was right when the Dell computers were coming out, and everybody had a
Oh.
cow box. And I was like, "Why? This is not my life." Yeah. So there's
I
you
couldn't do
have.
that. I couldn't do that.
I always thought that would be a cool job. Now I'm thinking, no.
Those UPS drivers. They don't get to come home until that truck is empty,
Yeah.
and that
And
is
it's
a
a workout.
long day. And they
It's a
put
workout.
hundreds of packages on that truck that they got to throw out.
No thanks.
Yeah.
No, I'm done.
I couldn't
So,
do that.
yeah.
I don't like driving to work.
Right.
I don't like driving in traffic anyway.
So-
Like, can you imagine
I
that?
love
shit?
driving.
Yes.
Oh,
So
I can't
driving,
park,
anything like that. But the one job I never could do was food, but retail, like carrying. This kind of,
Oh, there's no way.
And the one time I had to be a bartender, it was a celebrity bartender, and I got more drunk than the people I was serving. So I am not a bartender.
I helped a friend once who owned a bar, and I was a shot girl.
See,
Just like nobody showed up, so I helped him, and I was like, that was not.
not a good idea because everyone wants to do
That's-
shots with you.
Well, and then you're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like doing shots.
I do too. And then it's like,
When
and
you
then you
ask
start
about
feeling like
people
everybody's
hitting-
your friend.
I was gonna say when you asked about people hitting on me at the Harley, no.
Oh,
Shot
they were
girl,
hitting
I'm
on
sure.
shot girl.
girl is a nightmare.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
yes, right. Yeah.
I don't know. If I was a shot girl, I'm pretty sure it would be a different experience. Have
Right,
2 more. I'm pretty.
right.
Have 2 more. And I'm pretty.
I'm really pretty.
Have a couple
I'm like,
more.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Tell me how
Yeah,
pretty I am.
That was
yeah.
not my thing.
Once I hit Mila Kunis, I'm
Yeah.
cutting you off.
We want to stay right there. But we've all had the crazy jobs, so I don't even know how
have.
we talked about this. But yeah,
Well, and sometimes you just like you go through and you just forget them.
You
and
do,
then
that's
you'll
what I
have like a
said.
weird nightmare where you're like, "Am I back there?" No.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
'Cause you, like-
Especially the server ones. The server ones, you
Yeah.
have like the worst nightmares. Or fast food, it's like you can't get all the orders up. Like those stressful jobs that.
Yeah.
I
they
think
stick
it's
with you.
important to do all those jobs because you have to. Then you're nicer to
Character.
people when you're there. Or you understand what they're
There
going
should be
through.
a whole class, I feel like, in school where it's like you follow around a server, you follow around somebody that's in retail, you follow
Yeah.
around all these different
to
professions.
see what's really happening.
and to see like what your life is going to be like and to teach you how to treat people.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
once you're treated that way, you're like, dude, this sucks.
I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It
So
builds
I think that's
character.
good.
It gives
Yeah.
you-
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so if you don't like your job, there's another one out there.
Yeah. and it does build
keep
characters. Lots and lots of characters
And you
up
can
here.
quit after 4 hours.
Hey,
That
at
is
least
that's
give
the
it 2
record.
weeks
that's the
notice.
record.
That's the record.
That's the
4
record
hours.
right there.
If you can beat her record, you need to comment.
exactly.
Well, we hope that your job appreciates you and
Yes.
that you enjoy your Labor Day weekend, which is all about
Taking a
just
break.
taking some time to rest, relax, and rewind. So thanks for making us a part of it.
Bye. Thank you so
Bye.
much for listening to
Yes.
Cozy. Bye.
And we love our job.
yeah, right. Yeah. Amen.